Every single day, we interact with money. We earn it, we spend it, we stress over it, and, we try our absolute best to save it. Yet, despite this constant daily grind, very few of us actually understand the invisible forces acting on our wallets. All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're bridging this massive gap between how the real world prices things behind the scenes and how you can personally master your own money. We're going to connect the large-scale, macroeconomic forces that quietly drain our wealth straight to the micro, psychological habits of the self-made wealthy. It's a fascinating journey, and honestly, it's going to fundamentally change how you look at every single dollar you earn, and more importantly, every dollar you spend.
Here's the game plan for this explainer. We're starting with the macroeconomic forces extracting your wealth, pivoting to the psychology of money, and then finishing up with actionable rules for building lasting wealth.
Let's jump straight into Section 1, the true cost of things. To really get a grip on money, we need a real-world anchor. So we're looking at the price of a Big Mac in the Netherlands in 2026.
Now, you might be thinking, why the Netherlands? Well, the country actually has this long, completely unique history with both minimum wage and McDonald's. Back in 1971, the very first European McDonald's opened in a Dutch city called Zaandam. Fast forward to 2026, and the Dutch statutory minimum wage has hit €14.71 an hour, literally the absolute highest in the Eurozone. Because it's a highly developed economy with super strict labor laws, the Netherlands serves as this ultimate testing ground. It is the perfect economic case study for how the modern world prices everyday goods against the actual value of human labor.
Get this, because there is a staggering reality hidden in franchise pricing power here. This single burger costs €6.10, which is perfectly average for Europe. But the second you slap on a drink and some fries, what they call the voordeel menu combo, the price rockets to a national average of €13.30. Now, because the Dutch tax rate on both food and drinks is a flat 9%, this massive jump isn't from taxes, it's pure profit margin. We fall for the psychological trap of the bundle because, hey, the word combo implies value, right? But in reality, corporations are just exploiting our human instinct for convenience to extract maximum profit margins on carbonated syrup and cheap potatoes. The entire modern economy is aggressively optimized to take your money through bundled, high-volume consumption.
And this pricing power leads to something researchers call the Rotterdam anomaly. Just look at this gap. In the bustling, industrial, hyper-competitive streets of Rotterdam, that exact same combo meal is only €9.75. Franchises there actually have to fight for your business, which keeps prices lower. But if you take a trip to the quieter, provincial city of Enschede in the east, the price jumps to €15.05. I mean, it literally outprices central Amsterdam. Why? Because in smaller cities with way less fast food competition, they've got a captive audience. Franchises can price right up to their absolute maximum cost ceiling. The cost of things isn't just about what the raw ingredients are worth. It's about exactly what the market can mathematically extract from you. So, what does this actually cost you in time? It takes exactly 54.2 minutes of gross minimum wage work in the Netherlands to afford that one combo meal. Really think about the emotional weight of that exchange. You are trading almost an entire hour of your physical labor, an hour of sweating, standing, dealing with customers, just to consume a paper bag of fast food that's entirely gone in 10 minutes. This traps so many people on this relentless earn and consume treadmill, where every single hour worked is immediately eaten up by fleeting lifestyle consumption. So how do we get off that treadmill? Well, it requires a fundamental shift in how we perceive success, which brings us to Section 2, the illusion of wealth. We have got to dismantle the societal illusion of wealth right here and now. This quote from the millionaire next door absolutely nails our cultural confusion. Today, we're constantly bombarded on social media with performative wealth, right? The private jets, the designer bags, the popping champagne. It deeply skews our reality. We think wealth is having the flashy car or buying that €15 combo meal without even glancing at the receipt. But true millionaires, they are rarely the ones flaunting temporary riches. They don't look the part because the very act of looking wealthy, spending all your cash to project success, is exactly what prevents people from actually accumulating real wealth. Simply put, true wealth isn't loud. Just look at these numbers on the vehicle habits of the wealthy. It is shocking to most people. Over a quarter of millionaires haven't purchased a car in over 4 years. Another 50% buy used or lease. Less than a quarter actually buy brand new cars. The vast majority actively skip the flashy status symbols because they'd rather be frugal. They totally understand the brutal math of depreciation. They absolutely refuse to park their hard-earned capital into a hunk of metal that loses thousands of dollars in value the second the tires hit the pavement off the dealership lot. And here's the secret sauce. That calculated frugality gives them the dollar base to actually invest. And it applies to their wardrobes, too. The average millionaire is statistically way more likely to buy a $40 pair of shoes than a $500 pair, even though they could easily afford the expensive ones. This is the concept of stealth wealth. It's not just about being cheap. It is a deliberate psychological choice to prioritize lasting financial security over seeking validation from absolute strangers. It proves that wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is literally the money you actively choose not to spend. Which rolls us right into Section 3. Behavior trumps knowledge. Because at the end of the day, all of this is driven by pure psychology.
Think of building wealth kind of like planting a garden. It grows out of the tiny seeds of daily savings, rooted really deeply in a solid foundation of financial literacy. But it requires time and the absolute magic of compounding to truly flourish. Small, steady, unglamorous actions eventually grow into massive financial results over decades.
Building wealth isn't about being the smartest person in the room with the highest financial IQ. It's about mastering your behavior. Like, consider how spending is driven by emotion. Imagine you see a neighbor pull up in a brand new sports car. Your immediate emotional response is usually this mix of envy and a desire to keep up, which leads so many people to take on crippling debt just to project a similar image. Or consider luck and risk. Recognizing that not every financial win is pure skill, and not every loss as a failure keeps you humble and cautious. True financial independence provides the ultimate freedom of choice, and you only get there by respecting the time it takes for long-term thinking and compounding to actually do their thing.
Here's a great way to conceptualize how they do this. Think of it like managing a farm. Realized income is the fruit you pick and eat today. But the moment you pick it, when that cash actually hits your bank account, it gets heavily taxed by the government, and it feeds right back into that earn and consume treadmill. High unrealized income, on the other hand, is the orchard growing in the background. It's the silent, long-term capital appreciation of your investments. To build true wealth, you've got to protect the orchard. You must minimize your taxable realized income and absolutely maximize the unrealized wealth growing quietly in the background.
So how extreme does this get? Most true millionaires live on less than 7%. Actually, scratch that. Specifically around 6.7% of their total wealth as realized annual income. Whatever that small figure is, that is all that gets subjected to income tax. Think about how radical that is. You could have millions of dollars in net worth, yet actively choose to live on the equivalent of an average middle-class salary just to starve the tax man and let your wealth compound. It requires incredible daily discipline to artificially restrict your own cash flow when you could so easily afford to live a life of luxury.
Okay, so we understand the macroeconomic traps, we know the deep psychology of the wealthy. Let's wrap up with Section 4, the strict, practical rules for lasting wealth.
If you actually manage to pull this off and build wealth, the greatest threat to your family's future is something called economic outpatient care, or EOC. Basically, these are the financial handouts children receive from wealthy parents. Imagine a parent helping a young adult with a massive down payment on a luxury car. The parent thinks they're helping, right? But now the kid is burdened with sky-high insurance and maintenance costs they can't actually afford on their own salary, fostering total dependency. Gifting your children money consistently turns them into undisciplined, high-volume consumers who rely on credit rather than self-sufficient earners who know how to navigate the real world. To prevent this trap, affluent families follow some pretty strict internal rules. Number 1, don't let your children know how wealthy you are until they're mature professionals. Don't discuss their inheritance, and never, ever use cash to negotiate with adult kids. Offering a financial reward for them to behave a certain way or take a specific job only breeds deep resentment and a dangerous sense of entitlement. Instead, always celebrate their actual hard-earned achievements, like mastering a new skill, not just symbols of success. These rules make sure your kids don't just wait around for a handout, but actively learn how to build their own stability. But hey, before you can pass wealth on, you've got to build it yourself, right? Here is your path to true control. Step 1. Maintain a strict record of everything you spend. If you don't know where it's going, you can't manage it. Step 2. Budget clearly across your categories. And step 3, this is absolutely crucial, always keep a minimum of 15% of your income available for investments. You have to religiously pay your future self first before you pay the fast food franchise or the car dealership. That 15% is exactly how you permanently step off that earn and consume treadmill we talked about with the burger combo.
I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Take a really hard look at your own daily habits. Are you trapped on that treadmill, living on tomorrow's money today, just to look wealthy to people you don't even know? Or are you ready to embrace the quiet, disciplined frugality of the millionaire next door and actually build true wealth for tomorrow. The choice and the freedom that comes with it is entirely in your behavior. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.